Hello, I'm Natalie Webster, and this is Chat with Nat, where I get to talk to people who are creating community in the places that we love. And I'm really excited today because I've been a big fan of the Birdhouse Inn, which has been around forever. In my 25 plus years living in the Lake Minnetonka area, I can remember seeing it in different forms. And there's big news coming to you. It is now under new ownership, and we have Kelly Olsen here from the guest house, which is now what it's going to be called. And Kelly is going to share with us all about what is to come. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you are one of the owners of what is now going to be known as the guest house, but
Absolutely.
many of us knew it as the Birdhouse Inn.
Yes. So we I came across the property in one of my searches, and I just um when you get that intuition that says this is the spot you're supposed to be, that's what struck me. So I went to my networking group of a bunch of amazing talented women who each own their own businesses, and I said, who wants to do this with me? And about 8 of them raised their hand and said, in, let's do it.
Wow. So there's 8 of you
9
who
total.
are
Yes.
9 total
Hmm.
who have ownership in the guest house.
Yes. We've
Now,
got,
oh, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, we have big plans for the future of the place, and they actually start with the history. So we've kind of taken a deep dive back into the history of the property and found that it was really always intended to be a gathering place, and originally started out as the James Clark boarding house. And they were able to have up to 30 people staying there at any given time. So really we're trying to bring it back to the history, where it began. And I think especially sort of post COVID, we've all got this need to come together and gather again. So that's our intention.
That's fantastic. Now, what can we expect in terms of, how many rooms are you going to have for rent, for example? Sometimes I had somebody ask me that when I said I was going to be interviewing you, or was how many rooms are available, and for the life of me, I could not recall. So, what does
Right.
that look like moving forward?
So the main house will be 7 bedrooms and 7 bathrooms, and that will be able to be split, either 4 bedroom, 3.5 bath, or 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath, or the entire house altogether. And those spaces would each have their own outdoor space. They'll have their own interior sort of gathering space and their own separate entrance and exits. And then there's actually also a carriage house on the back side of the property that had previously been the innkeeper's quarters. And that will also be available for rent, either 4 bedroom and 2 bath, or could be split up down as a 2 bedroom, 1 bath each unit. And each of these units will either have a full kitchen or sort of a wet bar kitchenette setup. And really, again, our intention is to make this a community gathering place. And for if you're hosting a wedding or you want to plan a retreat or any of these things, we really want to invite the community in. I think in general, sometimes it's difficult for the people in the neighborhood to really interact with a bed and breakfast just because it's so specific to people who are coming in from out of town. But we would really like to be hosting community events, doing pop-up chef events in the garden space, high tea. So we've got a lot of great ideas. We're just gonna vet them out and see what comes together.
Will someone still, can you rent just one room? If you just want one room.
That's a great question. The smallest divisible space will be 2 bedrooms with its own separate space, and that's something we'll have to fill out here. We are working through the remainder of the bed and breakfast bookings, which are per room, um, uh, in the space right now. But again, sort of post COVID, we're finding that um, people really are looking for a space to get their friends and family together. So that's what we're trying to accommodate.
Yep, we just got a question on Facebook, exactly that. Can you rent one room only? Oh, also, what's the minimum number of nights?
That during our high season, we'll be looking at a 3-night minimum stay, but that will drop down to 2 nights when you're during the slower season. And again, we really are. Um, we want this to be a community gathering space. We want it to be the space that you host your family reunion or there was a great story this past week. There was a bride who hosted she had her bachelorette party there and they had their groom's dinner there. And then guests who were from out of town kind of used that as the hospitality suite, so to speak. That was sort of their landing space. They did all of their photography there in the gardens and in the house. So we really do want to invite people in from the outside who are traveling into this area, but we also really want to invite the community to think of this is our house collectively, and what are the best ways that we can utilize it.
That's fantastic. Now, so it really sounds like you're going to be able to accommodate all kinds of different setups, whether, possibly travelers looking for just one room in a space, but being able to kind of go in and host maybe different parties and gatherings or, a birthday party and whatnot.
So we actually have already been contacted by several different groups who'd like to also host retreats there. So as far as will there ever be an opportunity to rent one room or stay there in one room for an event, there's certainly, while most of those wouldn't be directly coordinated by us, we've been contacted by writing retreats and artist retreats, yoga retreats. So there will be several options available. And to be fully honest, we're looking for the community's input on all of this because the last thing we want to do is come in and make changes that are not in alignment with what the community is really looking for. I actually had previously owned Han's Bakery. We had a location in Anoka, one in Navarre, one in Blaine, and then we had a spot at the farmers market. And one of the real things that resonated with me about that project was just this idea of getting people to slow down and spend time with the people that they love. And that's really what we would like to see for this space as well. I feel like we're very sort of disconnected, or have been very disconnected over the last, year and a half. And we really want people to come here and make memories, lasting memories with their loved ones, things that are going to stay with them. Um, this is the minute where I get misty eyed because I actually lost my first husband in a car accident, would be 13 years ago now. And those are some of the
Wow.
things I thought about after the fact. It's, how was I spending my time and what might I do differently in the future? So I think really just providing those opportunities for people to come together again with their friends, with their family, and make these lasting memories. I think about it you know, even if you're someone who works full time and you can't get out from work, but you had the opportunity to stay at this house for the week, you could still drive in to work and get your work done while your family was staying at the house. It could still be your sort of staycation, but just to get you out of your bubble and get you experiencing some new things, which is also why we're really excited to reach out to the other business owners in the neighborhood here. And get people to really experience what it is to be in Excelsior, and which I think the people who are really familiar with Excelsior know and love it dearly. And I think though, if you even go out a ring or two, it's really a hidden treasure that I'd like to introduce other people to.
Very much so. There's not been a lot of news about the birdhouse and what's been going on. It just kind of quiet. So it's nice to have you guys take it over and bring all this life and excitement too into the community. I found out about it from your neighbors over at Just Naturals.
Oh, nice.
Molly, yeah,
Great.
Molly Lane
Great.
was talking to me about it, and she was saying how, there's this group of women and they're taking it over and they're going to do yoga retreats and all these different things. And I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds like so much fun. Now,
Yeah.
so of course, oh, you know what? Let's actually get to Andrew's question. So Andrew Punch is chiming in on Facebook. He says, welcome to Excelsior, Kelly. Have you
Thank
worked with a property that has been historically designated before? That
you
has
know
had a historical designation?
I actually worked closely with a good friend of mine on the Minneapolis Armory prior to it becoming the event center that it is now. So we worked closely with the Minnesota Historical Society as we were sort of going through that process. Now, ultimately, he did sell the property before it became the event center, but I definitely have been down that road before. And I'm actually volunteering on the board for the Island Park Village Hall restoration project that is just in its infancy now. Actually, they just received their report back from an architect to kind of explain the historical features there, and they were granted permission to be part of the historic or have the historic designation, but that's still something in discussion with the city of Mound.
That's fantastic. So I think the answer to Andrew's question would be yes. That's extensive. I mean, that is super cool because you have this whole background too with working with historic properties. And so it makes sense that, because one of my questions was gonna be along what was your comfort level with taking on a project like this? But it sounds like you are very well equipped to be able to do that.
I have had my real estate license for 20 years and do real estate and land development. But at one point, my mother-in-law was my broker, and she would tell me, Kelly, you're outside of the box more than you're in the box, and I think that sort of has followed me forward all of these years. I really like digging into the really interesting projects, kind of the not your run of the mill opportunity.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, oh, speaking of Molly Lang, she's chiming in. I told you I found out about you from Molly Lang over at the CBD store right across the street at Just Naturals. And
Mhm.
Molly says, "We are so excited to have you all in town. Thank you for bringing so much fun, interest, innovation, and joy to the neighborhood. Can't
Yay.
wait to see what's next."
Oh,
So
thanks.
people right now can go ahead and they can book stays. Is that correct?
You know, we are booking through the Birdhouse booking website until the 30th, which is our actual closing date. So we'll take over on August 1st. So those B&B rentals will go through October, about mid-October,
Hmm.
and we are actually going to start our restoration renovation on the carriage house, as that has not that'll be vacant at the time, and then we're going to move on and start our renovation of the actual guest house. That'll start in mid-October, and we hope to be completed by Christmas time. One other interesting little tidbit here. My husband has got a TV show on the Discovery Channel where they take veterans out fishing and they interview them about their experience. And the producer had reached out and said, "What are you up to here?" And over the course of a few conversations, we have decided that this is a project we'll be filming, and we'll be pitching that to Netflix and Amazon Prime. And then the networks after that. But our real intention is to film probably a 10 series, or I'm sorry, a 10 episode series, just showing about the history of the property, about the town of Excelsior, some of the other businesses in the area, in the process of doing this sort of historic restoration, and really reaching out to the community to fill a spot that might be missing there.
That's really exciting. So we could have a little kind of a docu-series, or I'm not sure what you would call it, just about, the guest house and also Excelsior. That'll be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I'll be reaching out to several of the business owners here in the coming weeks. And again, we'd really like to reach out so that when people come to stay at the guest house, they are receiving, maybe in the welcome basket, we have trinkets from some of the stores, or maybe there are, two beers from Excelsior Brewing. Those are just things we'd like to make sure that when people are welcome to the guest house, they also really feel like they're welcome to the entire town of Excelsior.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, while you're undergoing the renovations and this is going on, will it be available as a gathering space or for use, or once you're finished, fulfilling the reservations that are being done under the birdhouse? Are you shutting it down and then reopening? How is that going to work?
We'll be able to take bookings in. There won't be a time where you can't stay there at all. So what we're doing
Okay,
is
good.
first starting with the carriage house. So then when the carriage house is fully finished and ready to be rented, then we'll move on to the main house. And we'll continue to do, even when the main house is under construction, we will be hosting pop-up events again in the garden space, and we've got some really fun things planned, and we'll be posting those on our Facebook page.
So with these events then, so you'll have events that you yourself are hosting, but say if I wanted to get a few friends together for a birthday gathering, can I do it there or rent the space if I'm not renting a room, or do you need to rent a room in order to utilize the space as an event venue?
That's a great question, especially when we are under construction inside. You would have that opportunity to do something in the outdoor space. As far as events are concerned, we are just in the process of, I've been really interviewing several property management companies, realtors, booking agents, concierge. I'm really trying to gather as much information as I possibly can, and then just going to our social media sites and asking for advice from people, because I really want to know where that need is. We really do want to be filling a need as opposed to building some master vision that we have if that's not in alignment with what people are looking for.
I love that. If you're watching live with us right now, go ahead and type in the comments what you would like to see there, and let's just throw them at her right now. Let's start with
Perfect.
what I want.
Okay.
I'd like to be able to just rent one room,
Mhm.
if possible.
Mhm.
I would love some kind of a tea. I just love the idea of doing, a high tea, just
Yeah.
bringing people together, being able to do a tea in the garden or indoors in the wintertime. I think that's such a fun idea.
Mhm.
Um, I would love to even use it, coming up. I feel really gypped. I turned 50 last year in the middle of the pandemic
No.
and didn't really celebrate. I did have a great lunch, but so I kind of feel like I want to do something fun. That,
Yes.
and it sounds like it would be a great venue for that. Sue Thompson says, yeah, high tea and painting. That is
Yay.
a fun idea. So Sue,
Love
and I'm sure she can chime in too. She has an art space in, I think it's Victoria, where they do painting, and they do many events like that where you can come in and paint with your friends. But I love that idea of tea and painting too, especially in that garden.
Yes, it's so gorgeous. I love it.
Hmm. Now, while you're doing so, if we want to find out about upcoming events, we should really keep an eye on your Facebook page, which is called the Guest House, correct?
Mhm. And then we've got our website is being built out right now. It's theguesthousemn.com. So you can keep checking back. We'll have that up and live before we close on the property on the 30th.
Oh, okay, that's fantastic. So one suggestion, Nikki here, she says, I'd love to see healing retreats hosted there. Congrats on this exciting time.
Thank
That's a
you.
great idea too. I wonder what that would look like.
That one, that sounds great. I'll probably attend all of them actually. They all sound well. We
That's a
are
really
actually.
good one.
So the ladies in the investment group, I am hosting a slumber party with all of them and their daughters. I don't have children, so I'm bringing my niece. But we are going to go on a trolley ride and go check out the things in Excelsior and do our slumber party. And the next morning, we've got someone coming out to do a yoga class in the garden for us all. So we're going to do a little mini retreat, a little mini staycation ourselves.
I love that. Maggie says, this is so awesome. Yoga retreats sound amazing. Would love to connect about hosting a yoga retreat at the guest house.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Yep. So Maggie, I think you can reach out to Kelly. Kelly, best way to reach you, is it through the website or
Actually,
Facebook?
if you send a message, that comes right to myself and two others who are helping to respond, so you can get the quickest answer possible.
Yep, that sounds like a good one too. It seems like there's definitely a lot of interest in doing some kind of a yoga retreat for sure.
Hmm.
I like that one. And let's see. Melinda says story time for the little kiddos just to enjoy the outside space. That is a fantastic idea.
Love it. Actually, I met the most amazing woman. The very first time I walked up to the guest house to look at it, I met a woman named Catherine, and she looks like she belongs there. She's wearing this wide brim hat, and she had a scarf tied around her neck. And she's telling me she used to live in San Diego, and she came here for a retreat herself and fell in love with the place and moved from San Diego, pardon me, Santa Barbara to Minnesota to become the innkeeper. And she was
Oh,
for there
yeah.
years, yes. And then I find out the other day she used to be a rockette. She was an actress. So when I found all this out, I said to the producer, I'm like, I don't care what it takes. I need Catherine to narrate our show. Like, so
I remember Catherine. That's right, and you're right. I had the exact same response when I met her, and she was running the Birdhouse. Was wow, it's such a great fit. She's so
mhm,
warm and welcoming. So,
mhm.
will Catherine still be involved? Well, she must be then. Was she still be involved?
We have loved literally every person who has worked there. So we are doing everything we can to find the appropriate positions moving forward, knowing that we're not doing exactly the same thing, but there will still be a lot of needs. And it seems like a shared love for the space is kind of central to that. So far, everyone seems like they're on board.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're not going to have a problem with, especially with how you guys have really jumped in and your community involvement and getting to know the other businesses. There's so many fun things. I like what you're doing with incorporating those local businesses into what you're doing. And I think it's going to really be, well, I know it's going to be such an asset to the community because now we'll have the guest house and we
Yes.
have the Excelsior Hotel. They have only 4 spots, and you'll
Mhm.
have several more. So we're really going to have just so many more resources for people to come to town and be able to stay.
You know, I got married at Bayview 9 years ago, and at our wedding, we had to shuttle people to Chanhassen to the nearest hotel. So this project was near and dear to my heart. I knew full well how limited the um, hospitality industry sort of is in that area, and I have reached out to Jeff at Excelsior Hotel, and we have set up a time to connect, and I'll tour their space, they can tour ours, and I know that we'll be able to work closely together moving forward because there will certainly be times where either one of us has reservations and in need of overflow. So I'm looking forward to that partnership as well.
That's fantastic. So we have another comment. Goodness, I am looking forward to hosting a retreat for my friends. The energy is amazing and will draw much success, fun, and wonderful memories. I will reach out on the gift baskets because that's my specialty. Oh, how fun!
Perfect. See, you know what? I just keep feeling like if you sort of put things out into the universe, the right energy and the right people will present themselves. So I just keep putting out my dream scenario. In fact, right now my dream scenario is that when Miranda Lambert is in town to do her concert, that she would come and sing a song for us on the porch. So that one I'm really throwing myself out there at. We'll see if we can pull that off.
When is she in town?
The August 26th.
Nice. All right. So if anybody knows
Any
Lambert,
brand?
reach out.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Now, so in addition to the events and being able to rent the space and all that, will there still be an innkeeper on site? Because it's a little bit different business model from what was being done before.
Right.
Is it still going to be a bed and breakfast? Is it a stay and you actually get breakfast, or is it more of a kind of a VRBO model?
It's more of a VRBO model, although we will have chefs and caterers available as people desire. And then, as far as having someone on site, there won't be someone on site the entire time that you're there, but we are definitely, I mean, I'm 12 minutes away, and we've got concierge people that we've been interviewing who live right in the neighborhood. So we won't be absent from the space. We just want to make sure that we're able to provide what the people are looking for. So if you're someone who wants to come in, rent the whole space, do your own thing, and you know, you don't want us monkeying around in there, we're fine with that. Or if you're somebody who wants more of a customized experience where you want us to set up, a boating outing, out on the lake. Maybe you need help finding a florist for your wedding event. Maybe you need help coordinating with an event coordinator or wedding coordinator. We're happy to make those connections for people. The very first time I saw the space, it had a big tent over the garden area for a wedding, and it was set up just in a really gorgeous way. So we want to be as involved or hands off as people would like. And selfishly, this is an excuse for me. My husband is a fisherman, as I said, and has his captain's license, and I was able to talk him into buying me a wooden boat to go along with this house, and he has committed to I guess if people wanted to go out, I could captain the boat for them. So we're
Oh,
excited.
that's so
Yes.
that is really fun. And that is what I think is, again, I keep saying this, is so exciting about what you're doing is you're involving so much of the community and really creating a Lake Minnetonka experience.
Hmm.
It's not just come and stay, it's come and experience Lake Minnetonka, experience Excelsior, get out on the lake. And that
Hmm.
synergy and working with those, businesses, it'll be so much easier for someone to come to town and go, oh, here's a list of things you can do. Here you can go out on that wooden boat.
Yes, and we don't want it to be um, like a chain hotel. You go to this city and that city and that city, and you ultimately don't even know where you've been, because we really want to put the stamp of Minnesota, the stamp of Excelsior on this place. In fact, you know, I knew that the house was built in 1858, but that didn't really ring a bell to me until I was sitting on my couch and I, pulled this blanket up over myself and I look down and it's got the picture of Minnesota in 1858 on there. And then I start to Google and oh, yeah, 1858 is the year that Minnesota became a state. So that means this house has been around for a really long time. And there's a legacy and a long history that already exists in this space. And I just keep thinking about what our chapter will look like. So, what our chapter in this history book will look like is whatever the community desires and whatever we make it become together. And part of that won't just be my story or the story of these other women who are coming together with me to pull this off, but it'll be the people who do host their wedding there and do host the birthday party there and do get their people together there. And you had better believe we will have a guest book at the guest house, and we'd love to hear kind of your fun stories and memories of the things that you've done in the time that you're there.
I love that. I could see too, it'll be really neat to have as a real estate agent in the area, when you have buyers come in from out of town who are new to the area and don't really know the area, you don't always want to put them up, kind of like in a hotel and not really have that personalized experience. So this is such a great resource for that as well, because to me, it's so much more of an interactive experience because you're bringing in products and things from local businesses. So someone who's maybe does not know the area and they're going to be moving here can
Hmm.
stay there at the guest house and have this, interactive experience with the town, with products from the area, and, all that you guys are offering. So it sounds like we really want to keep track of if you're not following them on social media, make sure you follow the guest house on Facebook. Are you on any other platforms right now, or is Facebook the main one?
Are also on Instagram, but the majority of the information at the moment is going out via Facebook. And then we've also connected with Alicia Perkins. She's the wife of Glenn Perkins, former pitcher from the Minnesota Twins. She's going to be doing our interior design, and Glenn and Alicia's dad, Kurt, will be doing they'll be our general contractors. So, and they are true craftsmen. I mean, I have met with them extensively over the last few weeks, and I'm just so excited. In fact, one of the things I'm really excited about is we found some wood in the basement of the house, which I mean, it literally could have been there for hundreds of years at this point. And they're going to use that to build us our new dining room table.
Wow, that is really
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah.
I'm assuming along the way, you're going to be sharing photos and things on social media so we can kind of watch the progress.
Yes. And Alicia refinishes antique furniture also. So she's got Wabi Sabi Whimsy is the name of her company, if you want to follow along with her. And she also shows her furniture restoration on that site as well. And she's big on TikTok also. If you want to follow her there, she'll be sharing some of the progress as we move along here with the guest house also.
Oh, that's fantastic. I cannot wait to see what to come. So make sure that you're following the guest house on Instagram or right here on Facebook. And then you can also bookmark their website. It's scrolling on the bottom there. And that's where I'm assuming we're going to be able to see when events are coming and once bookings are made available.
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. And you may have a film crew there at times as well, which is kind of exciting.
We will be reaching out to the community. There are some things in the house that won't be staying. So we will actually be having an estate sale there. And I think just some of the things that have been brought in, there are some antiques in there, and there are other things that came in maybe in 1990 that are just a little bit past their life for this project. But we'll be having an estate sale there, which we will be filming and looking for sort of the before feedback from people. And then we're hoping to be done in time to have our grand opening and film that for the public right around Christmas time. So when the market is open in town and we've got the place all decorated for Christmas, we'd like to invite people back to kind of get their impressions of the after construction is all done and we're ready to roll.
So that would be kind of maybe around Thanksgiving then? Are you talking about when Chris Kindle's market's
Yes,
happening?
it's actually mid-December.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Well, very exciting. Again, make sure you follow them on social media, check out their website, share this video. Let's get the word out, share your ideas. I think this is a fantastic opportunity and resource in our community to really bring people together more. Now that we can gather, now that we can get out, I am all about it. I definitely want to do something there myself. It sounds like so much fun. So thank you, Kelly. Hang with
Thank
me.
you.
Everybody,
Yes.
yes. Everybody else, thank you very much for watching and joining us. And stay tuned for our next chat with Nat, where I get to speak with people who are creating community in the places we love. If you know of a local business or somebody doing something really cool in our Lake Minnetonka area, send them over to me. You can reach me through nataliewebsterrealtor.com, or you can reach me through my Facebook page, Natalie Webster Realtor. Send me a private message. I would love to interview them and share what they are doing. So hold tight, Kelly. Everybody else, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.